In today's video, we are going to cover this person here. They are talking about their fitness journey and giving advice to their following as to how they can build muscle in somewhat the same amount of time and build a physique like his. Because as you can see on the screen, it says, I've been lifting for a year and 8 months. And if you can just see the little peak of his physique, it looks pretty damn good. My main message to you guys would be, for him to build that level of physique in a year and 8 months, or even 2 years, that is top of the top genetics. Hard work would have went into it because you have to show up and you have to be consistent. However, for most people, even with the toughest and strongest consistency and discipline and good diet, you're probably not even going to look like that in 4 years. So if you are following him and listening to his advice will get you the physique quicker, that is the wrong way of looking at it. Fitness don't work like that. Some people just naturally have better genetics. But before we go into it in more depth, let's just have him speak and actually hear his points that he gets across.
I've been lifting for a year and 8 months, and I'm gonna give you the muscle you need to focus on if you want to look jacked. Number one, it's gonna be shoulders, okay? When you wear a t-shirt, it makes you wider, which gives you a bigger frame. And frame is one of the most important things when you want to look big. Number two, it's gonna be arms, okay? When somebody says you're big, they just mean your arms. You have big arms, right? Whenever I get complimented, it's because of my arms, because that's what people see 90% of the time when you have a t-shirt, right? That's the first thing they're gonna see. They're gonna see biceps, tricep, forearms. So to focus on that, I have a specific arm day where you only focus on arm. And lastly, which the thing that's going to put the whole physique together is the back, okay? Either thickness or like width, whether it's the widthness of the back or like the thickness, the back gives you that V-taper shape that puts your whole physique together, because look, when you look at me, the shoulders pop and the back completes the look, okay? So that's what's going to make you look jacked.
So I would agree with most of what he said, apart from I wouldn't do a solo arm day. Like, arms are such a tiny muscle group. You don't need to hit them for like a good 90 minutes. You know what I mean? Unless you want to do that with your friends just for fun. But in terms of optimalness, it's such a tiny muscle group. You don't need that much. However, the problem is that because he looks so great, a lot of people are going to take everything he said and just say that's the key. And it's truly not. It's because his genetics is great. So if we go look at his starting point, as you can see, he had a very good base. Look at the delts, look at the arms. You can see abs already. He even has an outline of chest. Like, this is a very good starting point. So the question you have to ask yourself, those of you that would watch someone like him and try and get his advice and assume that you can build the same sort of physique in that timeline, just ask yourself, do you have a starting physique that looks anything like that? Do you look in the mirror and look that good? Look at that. That is a great physique as a starting point. This is him, no gym. He's got triceps. He has shoulders. He looks fairly broad. That is an exceptional starting point with no gym. And then this is him 12 months in. I'm going to go with the theory that let's just go with his natural, because in honesty, it technically doesn't matter, because even on drugs, building that physique in a year and 8 months is pretty damn good still. And in terms of his symmetry and his overall aesthetics as well, he has very good insertions all over, which makes the physique look even better. But in general, unless you're someone that has this sort of starting point, it's almost irrelevant for you to follow this person in hopes of building his exact physique in the timeline that he did. As you can see, I am from the future because I came across this video and it perfectly encapsulates what we were talking about in this video, which was some people that have really good genetics, either they underplay or they just don't know. Because look at this. It's on his caption. You can see he's basically written, they probably just think I've been gifted with good genetics. And then he proceeds to show us his physique, which was a great starting point. But in his head, this isn't a good starting point. And if you read the comments, they're all laughing about this because they're all saying, bro, you just proved us all right. Like, your starting point was pretty solid and you don't think that contributes to the physique you have now. Like, look at him. Would you say this is a bad physique? This was the starting point. He's got chest, he's got shoulders, he's got abs, he's also got a bit of bicep. The fact he showed us his picture, I'm going to assume is very early in his fitness journey, if not before he even started. And that is a solid physique. So that is the point I'm getting at. Not to say that everything they spew is nonsense, but when they have lived a life with these advantages in their physique, they just don't know. Like, this guy truly thinks his starting point was not good. By the way, I'm fully aware someone's probably going to say it's the BBC genetics of being black. Anyways, back to the video. So in saying that, you have to understand that there are going to be some people in the fitness realm that naturally find it much easier to build muscle than you. I don't think it's the vast majority, because I do know a lot of people tend to discredit a lot of people's hard work. Like, I've had people say to me, my physique wasn't easy to build. It took me ages. I feel like maybe I could have shaved off a year or two if I was more optimal. But the physique I have at like how many years of lifting is nowhere near as good as his, let alone doing it in like a year and 8 months. So even though I do know there's other people out there better genetics than me, that just adds to my point that there are some people that can be able to build muscle easier. Now, that doesn't mean that people that look like crap are always going to stay looking like crap. You can always improve. However, the timeline is what needs to factor in. For most people, if you're consistent, you work hard, you're not going to have a starting point like he did, and you're not going to look like he does in the end, regardless of all the tips he's giving you. So it's not to say that you should just credit everything he says in his videos, because a good chunk of it's going to be the true things, like the stuff he spoke about to look good in t-shirts. I made a video, I'm not sure if it's out yet, but maybe it will be for this video, where I actually cover a subscriber asking, he only wanted to look good in t-shirts, and he asked me what are the key muscle groups to work on and what to do. I basically said very similar to what he's just said. However, I'm not giving them the illusion that they can build that sort of physique in such a short amount of time. Now, in regards to whether he's natural or not, personally with his starting point, I think the potential to grow muscle like that is there. However, most of us don't have physiques like that. My starting physique damn sure didn't look anything like this guy's. For example, right now, he's giving everybody now tips on the best workout routine to look jacked. Now, if you're someone with a baseline normal physique and you're trying to start off like him, you're going to be in for like a downfall. But with that being said, if you are someone that does have a great starting point, you have good genetics, maybe you will have the elite genetics that he does to actually build it much faster. Obviously, everything I'm saying is based on the fact that I'm assuming if he's natural. If he's using stuff, then that throws everything out the window. But as I said, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt and say that I think he's natural just because of the starting point. So let's listen to what he suggests would be a great workout for people to look jacked.
I've been lifting for a year and 9 months, and I'm gonna give you the best workout routine to look jacked as fast as possible, okay? So it's a 3-day workout routine. You take a rest day and then you just repeat, okay? On day 1, you're gonna do chest and back. Now the reason why I do that is because they're both opposite muscle, so you don't want to get fatigued from training one, okay? You do 3 chest exercise and 3 to 4 back exercises.
So in case you can't hear it, because he's a bit muffled in the accent, he's saying that he does chest and back, so he's working antagonistic muscle groups. So basically, they won't really affect each other too much. If you work your chest on a chest press and then you go change to a row, because the muscle groups are different, it means that you can kind of not get fatigued as much. Whereas if you do chest and go into shoulders, because they're both pushing motions, if you hit chest really hard, it's going to impact the amount that you can do in shoulders, because whichever one you do first is going to impact the other muscle groups.
Okay, day 2, you're going to do legs, okay? Now, the reason why I do legs in the middle is because that way for my last day, my upper body is not fatigued from the workout from yesterday. So what you want to do is 2 quads.
Makes sense.
1 hamstring, 1 calves, and 1 inner thigh, okay? And lastly, on day 3, you're going to do arms and shoulders. So you want to start with shoulders, 2 shoulder exercise, 3 tricep exercise, and 1 to 2 bicep exercise. And if you really have time, you can add forearm exercise that you can just do in between, okay?
Wait, is that the full 3 things? As in like he repeats it, or is it just 3 days a week?
Best workout routine to look jacked as fast as possible, okay? So it's a 3-day workout routine. You take a rest day and then you just...
Okay, so it's not a 3-day routine, it's a 6-day routine. He's saying do 3 days on, rest and repeat. So it's a 6-day routine. It's almost like, well, it's not push pull legs, but it's a 6-day routine. It's not 3 days. And in the video, he didn't actually mention like actually the reps or anything or sets, but someone asked him the question and he says here, basically he does 2 to 3 sets of 6 to 8 reps. In all honesty, 6 to 8 reps on the main compounds, I would have said cool, but like some of the other exercises, I would have said that's a little bit, you know, a little bit low on the volume. But my point is that nothing that he said sounded magical, was it? It was like a normal routine. You have to think that if they've always lived a life that has that level of genetics and muscle building potential, they only can see through that scope. So when someone else tells them they follow the same thing but haven't seen results, in their head they're saying, but why not? I've done it, especially because he's young as well. So my point is to get back to all of you watching is that taking advice of people with very elite level genetics, I know you think it makes sense because the thumbnails look crazy and they look great, but you have not got the same level of potential if they do. You know what I mean? You're much better off if you're someone starting out or somewhat newbie to the gym, finding someone normal genetics that is natural, that hasn't took anything, and watching them progress. That one should give you more motivation to see the likelihood of the time scale it takes for them to improve their physique. It won't be 1-to-1 for you, but it'll be much more closer. Because if you're watching someone like him and thinking, I'm going to build a physique like that in 2 years or even 3 years, it's very unlikely. It's just not going to happen for most of you out there. Many people go 10 years and don't get close to this. So I don't want to be blunt with it, but but like the realization that so many people think this is going to be possible by just following the same routines he said, like it's golden wisdom, is a little bit naive. For example, taking advice from someone with elite level genetics on how to build muscle is like taking advice from a life coach that is like 21 or 22 years old. You haven't lived enough life at all to give anyone advice on their life, let alone coach them. I know it's a little bit different, but if you understand, you understand. My point is, you can't really give advice to the general public because you live a completely different life. The smarter play is to find regular people and who have managed to build a good physique and ask them how they managed to fit it in, how they managed to change their lifestyle, what habits did they do to get to it, what sort of changes did they have to make in order to build that level of physique. Because someone that's gone through a much harder graft is one, someone you can respect more, and two, you can probably align with it more because it's probably much closer to your real life. With that being said, shouts out to Tim. I still respect the bro for teaching people how to train and get into fitness. However, do not follow someone like that, specifically if you aim to want to get their physique. Now, if you just like them as a personality in general and they motivate you to get into the gym, that's great. That's probably what it should be. That's what fitness influencers initially was. They were motivating tools to keep you on your journey, not for you to try and embody them and try and build their exact physique, because that's not possible with anybody, to be honest. But anyways, let me know your thoughts down below and I'll see you guys in the next video.